ورحمة الله وبركاته, my dear brothers and sisters. You know, I think the camera, yes, the camera, while in Texas, my daughter, she's really in very bad situation in Texas in hospital. I came to Florida and I'm going to stay here just to see my brother Muhammad, alhamdulillah. It's a very important topic. And that time, when you brother and sister, now the family and our kids, you know, the majority of our kids in public school and even Islamic school, a lot of self-esteem. The kids who don't have this kind of self-esteem, they're afraid even to say, I'm a Muslim.
Yeah. Confidence.
Yeah, no confidence.
Lack of confidence. Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, Brother Muhammad dealing with this in Islamic school and public school and Christian school, Jewish school, and all kinds of schools. So, we need Brother Muhammad, inshallah, says, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, we're going to speak about this very important topic.
Very important.
Why? Because our kids is a a lot of, my job, your job, everybody want our kids to be best of the best.
Yeah, we want our kids to be the best.
Yeah, but the key, but how we as a parents to instill the seeds of my son to be a strong,
to be prideful,
plus to be a Muslim and proud to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
Please.
It's a very hard. I thought you were supposed to do the.
Alhamdulillah.
First of all, I like your outfit, mashallah.
Oh, that's my wife. Surprised me with this one. Yeah,
beautiful. I will say it's not just our people. It's not just our Muslims that are having this problem.
Oh,
it's a whole Western mentality of kind of confusing and making the kids feel some type of different way. Right. If you look at the shows they watch, the movies they look at, the TV, you can just tell just by all the shows. Just to give you an example of some of the shows. If you watch some of these shows, it's all about, the man being very weak and the mom being the strong one, and the man being dumb. In the movies and the shows.
We don't have no TV here.
No TV. I'm good.
No TV.
But everybody else has, at least 3 TVs in their homes. Right? You have one in the bedrooms, you have one in the kitchen, you have one in the living room. There's always people watching TVs, and there's always watching shows. Even let's say the superhero shows, right? Even the superhero shows, they make the woman more stronger than the man, and they fight the villain, and the villain is this big tough guy, and all the women can beat him up. It's kind of trying to show that there's like a big disparity, there's a big change, the difference between now the men are weak, the men are stupid, the men are dumb, the men are this, and the women are smart, the women are brave, the women are. And it's a big gap right now that they're trying to push on all the kids, not just our kids. Our kids, we want them to be, we want the men to be men. We want our boys to grow up and to be men. And we want the females to grow up and to be women. And not just men and women, but Muslim men and Muslim women. And to be proud of the fact that you are a Muslim. I mean, if anything right now, what we're seeing happening right now around the world, that should right there be your sense of pride that these guys, these women, these children, these guys are living the way they're living right now, going through what they're going through right now, and they're still saying the shahada, they're still saying alhamdulillah, they're still saying all this Islamic, they're just praising Allah. That should make you proud right there. Just seeing what's happening overseas should make our Muslim kids proud. I think what a lot of the kids are feeling right now is they're not really grasping the beauty of what Islam is. When you go to a religious leader, or you go to a board member, or a person in charge of the masjid, and they're just yelling and screaming and talking to you in a different type of way, you're not going to get anything out of those kids. Agree. You're going to just keep pushing them down and pushing them down and pushing them down.
A lot of kids run away from the message.
They don't come anymore.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in my own masjids here, where the guy goes and starts yelling at the kids, playing basketball. And I would have to say, hey, that's not the way. Let's do it in a different type of way. Let's engage these kids on their level, so they can kind of see that it's not bad to come to the masjid. Because there's many basketball courts all over the city.
Indeed.
That they can go play at. why would you want to push them away from the masjid's basketball courts?
But I know that there's some exceptions.
There's some. Yeah, there are the exceptions.
Be honest. Yeah.
Let's not. I don't want to generalize all the masjids, because there is one or two or three maybe masjids that do things the right way. Right, they have the right people in charge. They do have the right characteristics going on. The right people can talk to the kids the right way. I think one of the other biggest things is genuinity.
But how to fix the current?
You have to. Okay, so here's the thing with genuinity. To be genuine, I don't really think you can train somebody to be genuine.
Yeah. Not to be trained.
I don't think you can really
grow up like this.
You have to have it in you to really want to show some type of love to these kids and some type of.
I mean, not the parents, the community.
The community. The parents, of course, the parents love their kids. I would hope that you guys would love your children.
Yeah.
Right. We would all wanna love our kids. And we would like for other people to treat our kids the way we want our kids to be treated, right? If I'm engaging in another kid, and I do this a lot with other students, with other parents, children, when they need help and stuff like this, I talk to them as if I'm talking to my own kids, and I explain to them. I explain to them, look, I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my son, like I talk to my daughter.
I did the same, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you like you're my own child. And this is what I would tell my kid out of love, right? Because at the end of the day, like I told these other kids the other day when I was at the masjid, I have to love you for the sake of Islam. And I have to want to make sure you are successful for the sake of Islam. So if you put that into your conversations with these kids and kind of talk in a way of not bashing them and not really talking down to them, but if you're at their level, and you show some more respect, because when I deal with criminals, when I deal with and when I was in the prisons and all this kind of stuff, people would always ask me, why is yours, when you're on the schedule, why do you always have the clean time? Like nobody fights, nobody argues, nothing happens, there's no red flags. What do you do from your shift that makes it where the inmates are always good? You never have to, and I've years, you're talking about 10, 15 years doing this stuff. And one thing I always tell everybody is, man, you just give them respect.
Absolutely.
They will respect you back. So when I come on shift, Muhammad's on shift, guys, let's relax. Muhammad's here. It's all good. It's going to be easy today because Muhammad's here. And so you just give these kids respect. You give anybody respect, they're going to respect you back. If you have a kid yelling and screaming and going at you, and you're yelling and screaming and going back at you, you're not going to get anything. So how we explain it to them is as your kids are yelling, as your kids are screaming, you kind of talk down lower. You lower your voice, because then that kid's going to be up here. You're going to be bringing them back down to where you want them to be. We do that with everybody and anybody. As any conversation you're having, or anybody you're dealing with, a boss or a coworker or something, and when they're yelling and they're screaming, what do? You just, hey man, what's going on? Are you okay?
That's very, very important.
Yeah.
There's some Sunnahfollowers here that everybody watch us. There is absolutely marriage life with no respect and honor each other, that household destroyed by default, step by step. Number one, respect and understand each other. Wallah, Allah said, mawadda wa rahmah. Not hub and love you, and in love. No. Al-mawadda here, number one, honor each other. Respect each other and have respect the opinion. Otherwise, my opinion, my experience in this country, more than 35 years, I deal with this. Any household not respecting husband and wife, you lose your household. You destroy your household by default. With all my respect. My wife, my wife. Before we got married, we have an agreement. Number one, respect and ihtiram. Respect each other.
Of course.
Okay. And salah and this and that. But number one, respect. Like I'm Palestinian, she's Chinese, and my culture is different than her culture. We have an agreement to accept your culture as far as not haram, to accept my culture. Alhamdulillah, all my culture halal. That's very important. Very important. So
no, you're absolutely right. And when you talk about, we could do a whole thing about marriage. We say that for another day of
before
marriage.
But as respectful even the kids.
Well, when you're arguing with each other, or when you're disrespecting each other, or when you're a female or you're a wife talking down to your husband, your kids are watching this. They're absorbing this. They're seeing, and I know, and I have some parents who say, well, my kids, they're 3, 4 years old. They don't see, or they don't know what's going on. Well, they feel it.
Magnetic. Their brain is magnetic.
They'll remember it. It'll play out 20 years from now. 25 years from now. All that stuff comes back.
But this problem for the whole household.
It's a whole household. It's a whole community problem. So when you have an issue at home and with your husband or your wife or anything like that, I was trying to explain to people, take that up when the kids are sleeping. Right, when the kids go to bed, when your kids are in school, or when the kids are away from the house, or when they're not with you, and you have some time to talk, you talk. You talk. You don't argue. You don't fight. You don't scream. You don't disrespect each other. But we talk about marriage. That's a whole nother chapter in the book of understanding how I deal with these new couples that are coming into they want to get married, and why do you guys want to marry each other? Oh, because I love him. No, because one day you're gonna love the guy, and next day you're gonna hate the guy. There's reasons to get married, and we kind of go down the line of the different reasons of why you should get married, of why you're marrying this person and not that person, or why. But there's many people out there trying to get married, and they're just wanting to get married just for the sake of getting married, not because of that understanding of what marriage is. And that's a whole another topic of that. But when we talk about our kids and understanding that the way we want to raise our kids, right, as a good Muslim prideful people, right, because you have to be proud of being a Muslim. And I know I think it was after September 11th, after 9/11, a lot of Muslims wanted to hide, right? They hid, right? Girls took off their hijab, women took off their hijab. I remember some guys changing their names because they want to be considered to be one of those guys, one of those people. And slowly but surely, you also saw the opposite side, where people were saying, non-Muslims were, let me look into Islam. Let me see why these Muslims do these things. And as these people would look into Islam, look into the Quran, they would say, this is a beautiful religion.
Indeed.
So they would revert back to Islam, and our Muslims were leaving Islam. So it was like it was a weird back and forth, right? Because you look at the people who revert to Islam, they're more prideful. They love it.
Yeah.
They're excited. They want to talk about it with everybody. Whereas for us who are born it, live it, learned it, we kind of shy away from it. We tend to shy away because I think we don't have the necessary understanding of how to really engage in a conversation about Islam. Right? Our kids don't really know. They know what they see in Sunday school or Saturday school, whichever day they go to school. They know how to maybe read a Quran, but they don't really understand the beauty of it.
The majority of our kids in Sunday school and Saturday school, the majority of our kids, they hate to come. They forced to come. But there is a reason for that.
And
not our topic, but there's a reason for the kids not liking the Sunday school.
But no, that's on the same topic, because we're talking about engaging with the kids, right? So I remember before COVID, I was running the teenage class. We did a teenager class in the masjid over there. And we started off with like 4 or 5 kids, and we ended up the class with almost 20 kids, because they were talking to each other, word of mouth. Hey, this class is fun. This class is great. He's teaching us about music and why music is haram. He's teaching us about these things. He's playing videos. He's allowing us to talk, right? And that's what I did in this class. Was I let the kids tell me what they wanted to learn. What's your guys' questions for us? Because I ran the boys section, and we have another female running the women with the girls, and it was such a great class. Very, very interactive. Very, the kids did most of the talking. Right, the children are the ones talking. The kids were the ones telling me what was going on in school, and I would ask, do you talk to your parents about these things? Oh no, if I said something to my mom, she would kill me. If I said something to my dad, he would probably beat me. But okay, so where is the way to allow the kids to talk to your parents about what's going on in school? They're coming to me and they're telling me everything. They're going to the female teacher, tell her everything, but they're not going to the parents and telling the parents anything. And it became a big success. They wanted to come to the masjid. These kids wanted to come to school. They had it in their heads, we're going to go to this class for 3 or 4 hours, and we're going to have a good time. because that's what it was. It was a good time. We weren't yelling at them. We weren't bashing at them. No, this is haram. We don't do it like this. No, let me explain to you why as a female or why as a man, we don't do these certain things. It was a great class because one of my clients who was with me when I was doing the drugs and alcohol thing, he came to the group and my class and converted to Islam in front of all the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mashallah, I'm like, brother, how did you find this place? How did you? Oh, I remember I heard you talking about it to one of the other, people in your job, and I listened to what you were saying, and I think I'm ready to become a Muslim. And this guy with tattoos all over his body came to the masjid. He came into my class. He said, "Can I do it right here?" And with the imam, and he came and did the shahada.
But this is masajid. Sunnahfollowers. Sister Layla, are you there, Sister Layla? Or they have a class on Sunday. I don't know. Is still running that? Sister Layla there?
Yeah, she still has classes. She's screaming, so she can't really talk. But yes, she still has the children's classes on Sunday. Yes.
Sunday. What exactly they do Sunday? Because this actually, I was watching once. Sunnahfollowers, mashallah, 1,000 people on Facebook and Twitter, all kinds of social media. How to make 1,000 people online to be involved? Consider that Sunnahfollowers here on social media engine. That is the magic. How to make the kids involved to be communicate with you, with me, with Sister Nafisa, with Sister Amina, with Sister Layla, and one of more. How to talk? It's very important.
You're asking a question that's very hard to answer because it's hard because a lot of people have so much going on in their lives right now. Right? Everybody is busy. We're all trying to pay our bills. We're trying to put food on the table. Every
weekend, brother.
Everybody's trying to hustle. Everybody in this westernized country we're trying to hustle. Right? Everybody's trying to hustle. Everybody's trying to make some money. Everybody's trying to make the ends meet. So people right now don't really have the time to put into trying to help everybody. It's hard. It is. And I don't blame people because it is this. I think the lifestyle that we're trying to achieve is very difficult, right? Because I think what we end up doing is we want to have everything all together at the same time, just like everybody else. Instead of saying to ourselves that we don't need certain things, right? Let's use an example of cell phones. Okay, when the new phone comes out, what do you see when you go to drive down the street when the new cell phone comes out?
Lines at
the door.
Yeah, right? Overnight.
People are sleeping. People are putting tents up. Yes. People are waiting for this new phone to come out. What happens when you see the Black Friday? It's going to come this Friday.
Yes.
Black Friday sales.
They just start.
Right. It's going to start. You see all these people waiting in line to grab the new TVs, the new vacuums, or there's something new. Everything is new.
I agree. Yes.
And so what I get frustrated the most is because I used to work at these places. I used to work at Best Buy. I used to work at all these different spots and see these people waiting in line. Do you really need a TV that bad that you will stay there overnight in a tent to get a TV in a tent, sleeping in front of the Brandsmore, in front of Best Buy, just to get a TV? And so when you see this brainwashing of I have to have the newest things, something has to give. You can't have everything and then think your kids are going to grow up to be the best, the strongest, the most prideful, because you've neglected something. And
not only even you, when my kids adult, when my kids actually the teenager, middle school, when Superman come, new Superman or Batman, they in line, and I prevent that, but sometimes behind my back, they all line, and just watch a movie, and after that, Netflix,
So it's hard to control. I guess it's very hard to control because we want what everybody else has.
But hard, but not impossible.
Not impossible.
Give me not hard. The hard, yes, but not impossible. How the solution for our kids to be involved with this?
So, where are your priorities?
My son, my daughter to be perfect example Muslims in the future.
That's your priorities. What's their priorities?
And the same, I believe.
And so when you have your priorities organized in the right way, I believe that when you put that straight, you don't have to because you see one of your neighbors or you see one of your Muslim brothers, you know, driving a Mercedes and you're driving a Ford. You don't have to say, you know what, I have to be like this guy who's driving a Mercedes. I have to, you know, work extra harder, because if you're working extra harder and trying to make the extra money to buy that Mercedes, what are you doing with your kid? You know, and so if your Ford is driving, if your Ford is moving, if your Kia is driving around, if your Hyundai is driving, do you really need that? Because it does the same thing. It goes from point A to point B. If you have a phone, a cell phone that works, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my cell phone is, if I show you my phone, it's cracked everywhere. I've had the same phone for about 4 or 5 years now, because I don't really put my priorities on that kind of stuff. I'd rather set my priorities to, okay, what can I do to make my family better? Right? What can I do to spend more time, or where, you know, how can I make sure that
I love this.
Everything at home is set. I don't need to drive, you know, the best of the best cars. I have a car.
I mean, unfortunately, my household is my priority.
Yes, your household, your kids, your family, you know, and how you engage with your children. Because if you engage with your children in a certain type of way, I'm not just saying love, because we talked about love. Love is, you know, you love for the sake of Allah, of course.
Yeah.
But you don't put that just that into your conversations. You put the need to understand that we care about all of our kids, all of our Muslim kids right now. And I said this at the beginning, where it's not just our kids, it's all the kids around us, all the kids in different public schools everywhere. They're getting, you know, bombarded with all the different stuff that our kids are seeing. So we have a time right now where we can actually make our kids stronger, smarter, and better than the rest.
How?
By engaging them more, having conversations with them better, and really being genuine with all the kids. Like I said at the beginning, where I'll give you an example of the school. I was in the school and I'm talking to the mom and her kids, and I explained to them, you know, one of the moms asked me, "Why are you here doing this? Are they paying you for this?" You know, I guess she was a little frustrated with me being there to tell them, explain to them what was going on with the family and what I'm seeing. And I met these kids twice, and I explained to her, you know, if you notice, I'm still in my uniform. I just got out of work. I'm not getting paid for this. It's 8 o'clock at night. I just care about your kids. I really want your kids to succeed.
Yes.
Because if your kids succeed, then I'm successful. Maybe, just maybe one day, one second, they might think of something that we had a discussion about, and they'll say, "Well, Brother Muhammad told me this." Maybe not now, maybe 5 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, something, you know, you plant that seed in these kids' head, because I've seen that. I've seen that in real life, where these kids that are in college right now come to me and tell me, "Brother, I remember you when you came to the masjid and you talked about drugs in Pompano Masjid." I said, "Brother, I haven't been there in 6-7 years." Like, "Yeah, but I remember you made a joke about the camels, and you said this and you said that, and you brought your partner with you, and it was the funniest conversation."
My son, remember, like years ago, I remember exactly what you told me. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on, again, it's the way you engage.
Yeah.
Right? You set your priorities, you engage with the kids, and you talk to them at their level. You know, I think maybe because it's different because of me, because I look at the stuff and I watch the stuff that they're watching, right? So when I hear them talking in their new words and the stuff that they say, I know what they're saying because I watch the same stuff they're watching. I do the same things that they're doing. I download the same apps that they're downloading. I watch the same shows that they're watching. So when I do engage with them, I can say, you know, that's just a show, right? It's not real. Well, what do you mean? Well, you know, one of the girls in one of the class in schools, not an Arabic school, not an Islamic school, in another school, she had asked me like, "Oh, I want to be one of those people that wakes up in the morning all bright-eyed, like that girl on Instagram. She wakes up out of bed like this, and she's so refreshed and she feels so good." I said, "You know, do you think about how she's videotaping herself waking up? That she has to get up and put a camera up. She has to put a tripod up. She has to press record. Then she goes back into bed and pretends to wake up like she's waking up, right?" Yeah. They don't think about, they forget that whole back part. I said, so I thought, you know, I'm sorry, but that's all fake. It's all just for show. Yeah. You know, and so don't think that just because you're watching these videos and you're trying to compare yourself, it's not true. And you explain to the kids, you explain to your own kids, you know, when you see these girls online, you see these guys online, it's all filters. It's all fake stuff.
That's what called trend.
Trends. There's so many different trends.
Trend, yeah.
There's so many. Trend is something that they watch and it gets millions of views and everybody.
That's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend. Like, everybody wants to do it. There's food trends. There's so many different things.
Oh my Rabbi.
that these kids are watching. And not just kids, adults. The parents are watching some of these things. And I'm going to try this trend. I'm going to try this food trick. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. There's cleaning trends where you can clean your things a certain different way. There's so many different trends out there. So many different things. But when it comes down to us, our kids being men and being women.
How? We want our kids to be here.
Yeah, and when you think about it, like, and you see the stuff that they're watching, that's not helping them become the man that they can become or the woman that they can become. It's not helping them engage in. And I do see these kids that watch these dawah channels. And they talk to me about these. Oh, did you see this? And did you see that? I say, yeah, I get it. I understand what you're watching. But there are certain dawah guys and there's certain channels you got to be very careful about. And I know we talked about this last time about the sheikhs and the imams that say, if some alcohol has only 2% alcohol, it's okay to drink because it's not really going to get you drunk. I just actually came up on my feed the other day and I was like, oh, I wanted to send this to you because I thought it would be funny for you to see this. I forgot to send it. I should have sent it to you. But I started saying to these kids, like, please be careful with who you're watching, who you're listening to. Because there's some people out there that don't really want the best for you. There's people that pretend to be sheikhs. There's pretend to be imams. And I explained it to them that there's guys with these beards that they want to portray themselves as these really high and mighty Muslims from Saudi or from Yemen or from this or from that. So I explained to them, like, please do your research and ask the right people the question.
Ya Allah.
You see something on Instagram or on TikTok, ask me. I'm not a perfect Muslim, I'm not a sheikh, I'm not an imam, but I'll find somebody for you that can give you the right answer. Because I don't want you to lead astray by accident. Because that's what ends up happening. You slowly steer them away from Islam. You slowly steer them away. You slowly take them. Yeah, and it happens.
I'm in charge of many masajid. It almost happens.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the subject. We want our kids to be aware about the dangers going on.
And so you have to be part of that. You have to be part of their life. You can't just think that somebody else.
Parents.
Yeah, you can't just think that it's going to go away. You can't just think, oh, I already told him or her, or I already told him and her what Muslim's all about and we're done. No, you lead by example. Right? You lead by example.
Some parents, brother, they give up. Some parents give up. And not only that, I don't know, non-Arab, they can make dua against you. May Allah destroy you. May Allah this, may Allah. And the Arab, I mean, we are Arab, yeah. But I think even non-Arab, it's the same thing.
Oh, of course. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of...
For the parents, for the kids.
For the parents, for the kid. And it's sad. It's very, very sad.
I agree. It's sad, yes.
We can't really fix what other people think or other people say about us. We can't. We can't control outside. We can't control how you feel. We can't control how the people feel. We don't have any control over that kind of stuff. What we do control, or what we can control, is how we feel and how we act and how we react to certain things. Right? So when I'll give you a prime example. We had a client come in this years back. He was mad, frustrated. Remember, he got arrested. He went to court. He went to jail. He went to probation. Then he comes and sees me. So he's been in the system for a long time. So by the time he got to me, he was angry, just upset and just frustrated and just the system is against me. Everybody hates me. It's because of this. It's because of that. And I look, at his charges, and as he's yelling and screaming and going off and going crazy and being disrespectful, and all the people around me were getting frustrated. And hey, we gotta handcuff this guy. We gotta hold on. Hey, let's talk. Let's take this outside. Before you get in trouble, let's talk. I don't want to talk. And he's this big guy, and I kind of just went down. He's going up here and I'm down here, and I'm staying low. And he calmed down within 5 minutes, 6 minutes, started calming down. He's like, man, I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of everybody telling me what to do. I'm tired of everybody doing this. I'm tired. He just kept saying he's tired. I said, okay, it looks like you need to take a nap. So,
Yes.
and that's exactly what he did. He started laughing, and he went from, being angry, being frustrated, to laughing in less than 6-7 minutes.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
And so when you see that you can actually, kind of de-escalate a situation, de-escalate your children, talk a certain type of way, you can make changes. You can make people feel different. And that guy came and he did the program. He did what he had to do. Within 8 months, 9 months, he was done. And he said, "Man, listen, I was so upset. I thought you were just like everybody else."
Oh, mashallah.
And so when you think about how a person is able to change, right? Because we talk about, as kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, if you look at the books, if you read the psychology books and the therapy books, they all say, after 7 years old or 8 years old, I believe, their personality is set. You can't change their personality. I don't think that's true.
I agree.
That's not true at all.
I agree.
The books will tell you these things. The books will tell you. The books also said certain other things, and then things change within time.
Yes.
They keep changing the books. They keep upgrading the books. Why do you think every year when you go to college, and I'm taking the same class, somebody else took 10 years ago, the books change.
The books change, but
the information changes. The knowledge, increases, and they have to change. Okay, that was wrong. What we taught you 10 years ago is wrong, and it's right now. This is the right way to do things now. So I tell people, no, that's not true. You can change at any time.
I agree with you.
At any time, but you have to want to change, right? And I tell the kids all the time, I say, you're 8 years old, you're 12 years old, you're 14 years old. A lot of the kids at 14, 15, they think, oh, I'm done. This is the way I think. I'm thinking like this because that's what their parents have told them.
Yes. By the way, Allah said that in the Quran. 2 ayahs in the Quran. Allah will never change a nation until the nation change themselves.
Yep.
Absolutely. That Allah said that.
See?
Yeah. That honestly, brother and sister, a lot of things we can change our bad habit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm that's my profession. I'm in the profession of changing people's bad habits. Right.
Today I was Today I was actually in Nova University with my wife, and actually have a needles. What do you call it? The Chinese needles.
Acupuncture.
No, but in the whole body needles.
Mm.
And the doctor speak about the kids, and she said, "I have 2 kids. Everybody with marijuana. Everybody with marijuana." I believe also Muslims.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just, our topic now about our kids who become like a low self-esteem and no priority in their life because that smoke. That is,
it's hard to tell why people do the drugs that they do. Right. When we go to a doctor, when we go to a doctor, the doctor tells, they do your blood work. They say, hey, look, you're missing this, you're missing that. You need this, you need that. That's understandable, right? You need your cholesterol's too high, your blood pressure's too, maybe you have all these problems. But when it comes to, mental health, it's a weird, hard thing to understand because a lot of people will tell you, well, if I don't smoke marijuana, I won't be able to sleep.
What?
If I don't
marijuana versus sleep?
Yeah, of course. And you talk to these guys and they say, I work in a fast food industry, and I work as a restaurant worker, or I work as a chef, and if I don't do cocaine, I won't be able to, to stay hyper. And
I think the drugs make the people low down.
No, there's uppers and there's downers. So marijuana is what makes you kind of calm down, makes you relax, but then you have cocaine that gives you more hyperness, makes you work faster, work, hyper focused, or whatever that person, whatever it does to that person.
But this kind of drug, sorry, brother, I'm ignorant about this. The drugs, with this kind of drugs, cocaine, marijuana, and liquor.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this one?
They're all either uppers, which makes you hyper, gets you going, makes you.
Liquor also?
No, liquor is more of a downer. It kind of makes you, from what I understand, from what these people tell me, from talking to all these people for all the years I've been working, it makes them do certain things that they would never do.
The liquor.
Like the liquor, the alcohol. Alcohol, maybe gives somebody the courage to talk to a girl. to talk to a female, or makes them, more prone to, relaxing and getting away from the depression of their lives. Because a lot of people who drink, when they explain to me why they drink, it's mostly because they're depressed. Or, also it goes back to understanding of the movies and the shows. Each movie, each show, they have a different reason for drinking alcohol.
When I used to watch movies, well, they also forget this.
Yeah.
In the movie,
Yeah, they want to forget whatever is going on in their life. They want to forget about it.
that they do. True.
They forget about it while they're drunk, and then after they wake up the next morning, they have a headache, and then they remember it after. Maybe they forget about it for an hour, maybe they forget about it for the night, but it always.
I mean, the liquor make the person sleep.
It depends on the person, yeah. But yes, most of the time, yes. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I'm ignorant.
No, alhamdulillah. I mean, it is. I mean, listen, we have so many drugs out there that people don't know about. We focus on marijuana, we focus on alcohol. We don't focus on caffeine, coffee, on the Monster energy drinks, all the energy drinks that these kids are drinking.
No, coffee. No, pure organic coffee. What's wrong with it?
You can drink your coffee. It's okay.
I do.
Yeah, it's okay.
Otherwise,
I'm just saying as an example of the kids that drink non-stop Monster, Red Bulls, all these caffeine drinks.
This is the crap.
But that's all caffeine, and you have to understand and read the labels of the stuff that you're reading, that you're drinking, that you're putting in your body.
Oh my God, they put the boys in there, but never ever the drink, not very.
Nobody reads anything. If it's a colorful can, looks pretty, it says organic on it, or
but my wife will go to the market. She have to read in detail.
Yeah, you have to read
even organic, but you have to read.
Yeah, you should read everything. You have to read everything. We need to talk about what you're putting in your body, what you're ingesting.
Brother, you scare me. Yeah.
Don't be scared.
To go back to our kids.
You have a good wife that takes care of you, so you're fine.
Alhamdulillah, she tried to spoil me.
Alhamdulillah. But when we talk about the kids, when we bring up our kids as Muslims, if we're not proud of being Muslims as the parents, if we're not being prideful, if we're not saying, alhamdulillah, we're Muslims, that we don't do this, alhamdulillah, we don't do that. Like when I go to the schools and I talk to the kids, I tell them, man, alhamdulillah, we're a Muslim, man. We don't have to worry about, what I'm going to do on Friday night and get drunk, because that's what they worry about. They worry about these things. Alhamdulillah, I don't have to worry about that stuff. We have, alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim. I know that the doctor during COVID on TV said that we have to wash our hands 5 times a day to keep COVID away from people. And I make it.
We have to do that.
I said, alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. We pray 5 times a day. We make wudu 5 times a day.
Not only hands, in our private private area.
And one of the newscasts I was watching, he said, you have to clean the nose. You have to clean the rim of your nose. I said, alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. We already do that. So when you push these things, when you say,
I love that. Yeah.
These kids like, okay. So I'm like, and I asked the kids, can somebody explain to me how this prophet knew 1400 years ago that's how we're supposed to make wudu, and now these scientists are telling us that we're supposed to wash our hands in order to keep the germs away from us, and it gets in their heads.
I know in the COVID-19, everybody would niqab.
Yeah, they went in France, they went to ban the niqab, but over here they're telling us to put the masks on. So it's amazing to me, and so when you talk like this to the kids, when you explain to them, like, look at the beauty, man. They find out that if you want to lose weight and you want to regenerate your body and you want to clean your stem cells, what are you supposed to do? Fast for a minimum of 30 days. That's what the doctors are saying. The doctors are telling you fast for 30 days so you can regenerate your stem cells, so your body can heal itself. Well, alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. We've been doing that for how many years? So you explain to the kids, you explain it with excitement, right? You get excited about this because it's exciting.
Yes.
Look at it's funny, I use this example a lot with the kids. Yoga.
Yes.
The yoga poses when they go down and they put their head to the ground and they breathe and they meditate. So what are we doing when we're praying?
SubhanAllah. Actually, my second black belt and the third black belt was in Japan, in Tokyo. And then the sensei was the karate teacher, old men, literally. I'm talking 70 and 80 years, but the fighters. Brother, when they making the worshipping idol with the Buddha, when we speak to Buddha, very humble. And the reciting, cannot understand in Japanese. And then I pray Maghrib and Isha loud in the gym, in the corner. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. To the Quran. And Maghrib and Isha together when I'm a traveler.
Yeah.
And the sensei came to me. Said, what kind of style you bring here? What somebody translate to him. What style? Karate style. I say, Salah style. I said, what? Salah style.
Muslim.
I said, prayer style. To pray to whom? Nothing there. The wall.
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, oh, he's there. We cannot see, but can he see us? One of the sons say, he's 81 years old, become Muslim in Japan. I will never forget that day. And subhanallah, second year, was about to come, he died.
Yes.
But he grave in the graveyard, Muslim graveyard.
Mashallah.
Yeah. Now go back to our kids.
Yeah. So when you see how you spoke and how you were prideful, you had that confidence in you. And I think a lot of that is what we kind of push on our kids, is the confidence, right? To know that our kids, we are different, right? And I always say this all the time, we are Muslims. We're built different. We're built tougher. We're built, smarter, more patient, right? How many times is patience in the Quran, and how do we actually practice it?
Yeah, 60 times more than 60. Yeah.
And so we don't and we don't. Do we practice it? We should be practicing it with our children, with our families, with our masajid, with our board members, with our imams. We have to have more sabr, and it's hard even for myself. I always tell myself before I tell anybody else, have more patience.
Allah said, "Wasta'inu bis-sabri was-salah." Get help with patience and salah. Not easy to go to pray, but I need sabr, patience to go and
Absolutely.
Make a prayer.
Absolutely.
Yes, but that's the key is our kids.
The keys are kids, and our kids need to understand that confidence isn't it's not something you're really born with, right? Confidence is something you build over time, right?
Yes.
So a lot of the kids, when I go to the schools, they ask me, how do you get up in front of hundreds of people and talk? How do you get that courage to just go up there and talk to people? Because I do a lot of schools. One time I had 500 kids in a cafeteria, and I was in the middle, and that's when a couple of them. This is an American school, public school, and one of the kids came and he said, "How do you do this? How are you okay with just getting up and talking in front of all of us like this without being nervous or shy or embarrassed?" I said, "Listen, the whole time I'm up there, I'm shaking on the inside." I'm making dua that Allah, please, don't let me say anything wrong, or if I do, forgive me for everything that I say, if it's wrong or if it's inappropriate. But I said, at the end of the day, I'm confident in what I'm saying because I care about all of you guys. I need you guys to be successful.
Yes.
Because the generation that's coming up needs to be better than the generation that's passed.
Agreed.
And I said, we're not going to be able to go anywhere. I need to make sure that I'm okay when I get older, for my own children to take care of me, to want to take care of me, right? We don't want to just kind of throw our kids out there to the wolves. And I see this a lot. This is one of the things that drives me crazy. And I can't really say anything because, I don't know what people's circumstances are. But how are we teaching our kids that, okay, we're going to shelter you for all these years. You're going to come to high school. You're going to go to middle school. You're going to stay here in this house. And then when it comes to college, go, to a different state.
Not all, but Muslims do.
There's a lot of Muslims that do this, and this is what
the kids choose.
The kids choose, and I get it. I have to go to this school to become a doctor. I have to come to this school to become this.
Yes, we are now community. Yeah,
and I see it, and I get it, and I understand it, but it irks. It gets me annoyed because I think to myself, you never really had a chance to understand the real world, and now you're going to go out there as a 19-year-old, as an 18-year-old, with, inshallah, hopefully, a lot of deen inside of you.
Yes.
But I look at your parents and I see if your parents are good Muslims and they're good people, did they teach you the right way? Did they instill the confidence in you that if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, Ibrahim, why don't you come out here with us to the bar after class and hang out with us?" Are you going to have enough confidence to say, "No, I'm good, I'm going to go home, go back to my dorm room and study"? Or are you going to feel weak and say, "You know what, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't go out and hang out with my friends. I'm going to go hang out. I don't want to be a loser. and then go hang out with my friends. So that's where it goes, because I went to FIU, I went to FAU, I went to these university. And it happens. Hey Mo, you want to come out here? We're gonna go out to this place. No, I'm good, bro. I gotta go. Hey Mo, we're gonna go out to this place and have a couple of beers. You wanna come? Man, I don't drink. I'm good.
Allah.
You know, they ask me these things, and they're not trying to do bad or do harm. They're just trying. They think for them that's their way of relaxing, of getting over the week of hard school, of studying. That's their way of, you know, that's a relaxation. For me, it's like, no, man, I'm good. And that's not even because I'm a good Muslim, but because I had that confidence in me that I didn't care what they think.
Yeah.
I didn't care what they said about me. I don't care if they said, oh, Muhammad's a loser, bro. He doesn't go out. You can say all you want to say about me, but I don't care enough to really want to say, okay, let me not go do my thing. I'm gonna go hang out with these guys because I'm afraid that they're gonna make fun of me if I don't go out.
You're right about that.
Who cares?
And when I came to America, I went to my master's degree in Florida Atlantic University, my PhD in Florida International University. And after that, and also the weekend special event, come with us.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I didn't know what. And when I say almost naked, I don't want to die like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
And you know how it's very important, brother and sister. Every legally, every Islamic school, every public school in America, I'm talking about America, every public school they have a slip, a paper for the kids, give it to the principal. For your son, your daughter, your kids come to the masjid, Salat al-Jum'ah legally. And as well, the university.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in the hospital with my daughter. Salat al-Jum'ah, my daughter upstairs, and I was supposed to go to the masjid. I take Uber with the masjid. Why go to the masjid? You don't understand the masjid. Even the hospital, there's Salat al-Jum'ah.
And
so they have no excuse.
A lot of the universities actually have a space now for the Muslims.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And I know a lot of kids that in the public schools they have asked their principals and their teachers
in the airport too.
In the airports and the schools, they have certain places where they can pray. Yeah. I mean, if you have a good, strong Muslim community or a Muslim, what do they call it? MSA, Muslim Student Association. You can make those changes, MSAs. Yeah. You can change the culture in your school.
Yes.
And let them understand that, hey, look, on Fridays we have to pray, or at 1 o'clock we have to pray.
Read the paper. If you don't have, Sister Layla, I can text you the paper and email you the paper, and for the kids to give it to the principal, but in order for the son, for the daughter to come for Salat al-Jum'ah. I have a paper legally, can give it to you, inshallah.
Yeah, of course. And they give you.
Now we have in your phone.
820.
820? 820? Oh, okay. I have a class at 8:30. I have a class. So, prepare yourself, Sunnahfollowers. If you have any question, inshallah, before we finish, I'll come. 2-3 minutes, we have it, inshallah. So, I have a question with Brother Muhammad now. Prepare, you have a question, Sister Layla, if she's up, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Brother Muhammad, and before we finish, inshallah, really need be honest with you, when I go to the masjid and see that I actually barely to see Salat al-Jum'ah. But you know what? Salat al-Jum'ah in the mother in the hospital. In the beginning, somebody actually tried to clean the Muslim, because that's the place in the hospital, in the hospital, the place for Muslims and the Christian and Jews. Yeah. We cleaned the area. A person cleaned the area. I found that he's a medical doctor. And guess what? He made Khutbah al-Jum'ah. And guess what? He became Muslim 5 years ago. From Puerto Rico. He's a doctor. But he made an excellent Khutbah al-Jum'ah. The key here, how really, when I think with us, inshallah, we really need a statement from you, encouragement for our kids. Number one, for the respect. Number two, the most important thing, to come really to the masjid. Doesn't matter about this imam or this imam. For example, my wife and her friend, they went to pray Salat al-Asr, one of the masajid. They have some kind of course, and Salat al-Asr in the masjid. And my wife and Sister Mu'min, she tried to enter that area, Salat al-Asr. Almost there's no one, except some people, I don't want to mention nationality.
Yeah.
No, haram to enter. And my wife said, haram, what's haram? Haram, go, very nasty. Very nasty. I told my wife, see, a person like this, don't go, hit him. I said, what? I said, hit him.
Is that sabr? Is that practicing sabr?
Actually, I'm Palestinian.
Yeah.
And somebody, number one, is not haram, he's haram. That means, Hadith Rasul, man kafara Muslim, faqad kafar. If a you are kafir to come to, he's a kafir, ignorant, and supposed to get whipped. Why? Because he's in haram to come to the masjid for her. And no masjid except those guys.
And so when you see that, this is what I tell the kids, because I tell them all the time, like, I don't care who the leader is or who the board members are.
Yes.
You don't stop going to a masjid because of those guys.
Repeat again. So very important this thing, brother, especially for the sisters and the kids.
So the problem that these kids have is that when you stop going to a masjid because of the imam, when you stop going to a masjid because of the board member, you're not, nobody's winning. You're losing, because now if you're preventing yourself from going to a masjid because of some person. You're not going to the masjid because of the person. Why are you going to the masjid for?
For the house of Allah.
For the house of Allah.
Yeah.
So that board member, that imam, they're the end all.
I agree with Brother Muhammad.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have now is that, and I've seen this years, for the past, I don't know how many years, 10, 15, 20 years, is that when people get mad at each other at different masjids, they want to go open up a masjid on their own.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Next door.
My masjid. At least then have mine.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. But I see this, and that's the kind of stuff that our kids are watching.
Yes.
And they're seeing this, and they're like, well, if my dad does this, or if my mom
does this, scary.
Then I'm going to go ahead and start going to a different.
But encourage our kids. We need encouragement,
confidence, understanding that these kids are not the way we were being raised. It's a different generation.
Absolutely.
Different generation.
Yes. I mean, my generation, different than you. You're born here. I born in Palestine, in Gaza. Yes, you're completely different. Even you, brothers and sisters, Sunnahfollowers here, your mentality and your critical mentality is completely different. The mentality completely, we have to accept the mentality of our kids.
Yeah.
And also can form their thinking. But as Allah said, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Argue with them in a very moderate way. So Yusuf. Well, so Sunnahfollowers, any question with the Brother Muhammad?